DIY or Die, Walker Vapor Group LLC, or any of its associates do not condone nor encourage the use of nicotine, vapor products, or any mood-altering substances without the explicit consent of a physician. The content viewable on this channel is strictly for entertainment purposes only and not meant to be seen as informational or educational. Must be 21 years or older to view these materials.
Silky Beat.
Hey, what is up, Mixers? Welcome back to another glorious episode of the MIXINVIXENS. My name is Emily, also known as mlNikon, and let's say hello to our other Vixens. First up, we've got Rin. Hi, Rin.
Hi.
Hello, hello. And we've got Jen, the JuiceFairy.
Guys.
Hi, Jen. And last but not least, we've got the lovely Lumi.
Hi.
Hi. How's everyone doing?
Are we on gallery view today?
No.
Yeah, we are. Gallery view. So as you guys can see.
Oh, are we live right now? Like all of us?
All of us. As you can see, we have a guest to chit chat with us, hang out with us. It's Michelle, aka Dull Dime. How you doing, girl?
Okay. I'm feeling real cool right now.
Nice. Welcome to our show. Welcome to our chit chat show. It's the show where we don't really have anything planned. We just hang out and
Just
shoot
gonna
the
talk
shit.
shit.
And sometimes the audience will ask us questions. Sometimes it's mixing related. Sometimes it's not. So why don't we start by you just kind of, for those of us who don't know who you are, just intro yourself a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm gonna guess most people in your chat know who I am, but my name is Michelle Lynn. I made Dull Dime mods. We can talk about that in a little bit. And I'm also a musician and recently did the Winter Doldrums, which I know I see a bunch of people in chat actually watched. So
nice.
How much do you want me to get into this?
As much
or
as
not
you
into
want,
this?
or as little as you want. There's no rules on Chit Chat Show.
Michelle, don't you mix with Fresh sometimes?
No, I basically just hang out with Fresh and annoy him.
Got you.
You have like one thing you mix up, right? And that's it.
Clove. I only vape one flavor.
Which is like clove
ever.
and sweetener.
Fresh keeps me on his channel, so I highly doubt you can say you annoy Fresh.
Okay.
Oh, but
yeah, Lumi, you were honestly like one of my for people that don't know, I used to do a vape show called That's What She Said with Ruby, Rue, and Jess Marie from DHD.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, but Lumi, you were like one of my favorite guests that we had on because normally like the other girls were like on me for being kind of the out of control one. and like Lumi just took it to a whole nother level, and I was like, oh my god, this is great.
Lumi
like
just put you to shame.
Oh, we've had another one of the ones that used to be on That's What She Said. We've had
Danielle Jones.
Danielle. Yes, we've had Danielle in here. Can't believe it. Her name escaped me. I mean, it's just been a long day, but I talk to her all the time on Twitter, so I definitely
at my age, like, names escape me all day, every day. You just forget shit.
Yeah, for sure.
So, real quick, before we get into anything, you mentioned you're in a band. What do you play? What kind of music? And, like, what instrument?
I play the electric jaw harp.
What?
No, I just made that up.
Is that real?
I'm in a really goofy mood right now. I am so sorry. I play bass. I've been playing bass since I was 12 years old, and been in a bunch of bands over the years, mostly folk bands. At one point, I had a. Does anyone remember the band The Police? You know, like Roxanne,
Yeah.
and I had a police tribute band called the Rent-A-Cops because we weren't
Oh,
the real
that's cool.
police. That was a lot of fun, and we would basically just get drunk and play police songs.
That's fun.
It was so much fun, like honestly. But then after like 2.5 years of it, we kind of all were just like, we're really sick of playing their songs, you know. And so we just like we were officially like on hiatus. At some point, we'll get back together and do it because like the people that played in that band, I play with them in other bands, so it's not like we don't even see each other anymore. But that's kind of like the life of like a bass player in Philly. You play for a lot of different bands over the years. You get involved in a lot of projects.
We
and
got a video of you with the dual drums. What do you guys say? You want to hear one of her songs?
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's check it out.
which one are you gonna play?
Let's pick one.
Probably the first
The
one.
one. How about the one with Emily, and just Emily and me on bass?
Oh, which one is that? What number is it on the track?
Well, it's not a. It's
I think-
a video.
I think it's easier to just play the first one.
Yeah, let's just go with the first one.
Because we'd have to set it up if we went further than that.
Oh yeah, but don't. That's just a bass solo at the beginning.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean it's like not even a minute long. If you want to just play it from there and let's let it run into the actual first song, because it's actually like a bass solo within 2 songs.
Gotcha.
All right, well, we can do that.
That's why I meant like it doesn't work out that way exactly.
We can do that. Just play it in the beginning. We'll do the bass solo and then go into the first song. Yeah. All right, we're getting the thumbs up.
So
from our
so
tech-
this is actually my personal band. You know, like I play for other people, but this is mine. Is it being played?
Not yet.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
He's on it. Yep.
This song is called In Memoriam. And before we start, I just want to say I feel so privileged and honored to sing Michelle's beautiful poetry. It's true. I often wonder about a poem Lord Alfred Tennyson wrote. In memoriam Arthur Henry Hallam, from which I now quote. Since my son's death, it's those last 14 words I recall. 'Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Powerful verse written over eternity's door. Will you regret having lived a life which you did not live at all? I must acknowledge the love and the empathy in which I must live, and of his suicide and my own guilt I can learn to forgive. And I will repeat to myself every day and write it on my wall. 'Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Than never to have loved at all.
Hey, very nice. That was very pretty. Great job. So,
Sorry.
bass players are hot. I just gotta say it. I'm not hitting on you or anything. I'm married, but I love the bass players. Good job. That's
I appreciate that, Emily, because I've been having like one of those weeks where I've been feeling kind of ugly. So
cool.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the not really quite being hit on.
Well, that was nice. That was really nice. I really liked it.
So let me explain that a little bit. That was something that was from the Winter Doldrums, which is a show that I do every year to raise money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And that song is from my personal album that I made, again, after years of playing in a lot of different bands. I currently play with Andrea Nardello, but I wanted to take my own poetry and put it to music, and I can't sing at all. And so I worked with a different friend on each song, and we put out an album of 17 songs, and that's one of them from it. But it's also probably like my most contemplative and painful song for me. Like that's a hard one. That's a kind of a hard one even to listen to. Like, and that's my really good friend Emily who sang for me on that one. So anyway, thanks for sharing it. If you know anyone who is struggling right now, reach out to them. Reach out to your friends. Just check on them. You know, it's a freaking tough time for everyone right now, and suicide is no joke.
No joke. Definitely. I completely agree with that. There's a lot of people, as a matter of fact, when they retreat, it's a better time. It's a really good time to check on them because you never know what somebody's going through. But when you're used to talking to somebody and they're active and stuff, and all of a sudden they kind of back off, and you notice that it's not just you, just check in. Just check in because some people aren't telling us.
Well, I mean, but the thing that happens so often. So look, I mean, I'm not openly admitting that I've dealt with depression my entire life. My son killed himself. Like, I know what mental illness it's like to live with. So I can tell people that maybe aren't struggling with it that when you haven't heard from your friend for a week, don't take it personally and think that it's because of maybe something that you said has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard from your friend in a week, check on them. It's like as simple as that.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have a family member, a very extremely close family member that suffers of depression. And I can tell when something is wrong because this is somebody that I speak to every single day on purpose. And if for some reason on one particular day, I don't get not even a hello, I freak out. Because you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
And
You
they're
definitely
masters at
learn
hiding.
to look for things, when you know someone had,
and they're masters at hiding it.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
the guy that you saw playing the drum in that video with me, my friend Josh, which also, by the way, I have to repeat this before we move on. Sam, dude, you cracked me the F up while I was watching that. Whenever I'm on Fresh's show, like I always give Sam shit because like I think that he looks a lot like my friend Josh. Like I think they look like twins. And so he's
Yeah.
like, when he said, you know, who got me playing drums, it was so funny, dude. But also that guy who actually was playing the drums though, he somehow knows like when to check in on me. Like he's my guy for that. Like
That's nice.
the one who just kind of shows up at your door like, hey, how you doing? So you can't
That's a
not
good
text
friend.
them back. You know, when someone just shows up at your house, it's kind of like,
Yeah, I've actually, I don't know where my spidey senses come from, but I've done that to somebody in the past, at least
Yeah.
6 or 7 years ago. I was sitting at home and it was like 8 o'clock at night. And I had this eerie feeling, and it's the same person. And I called and there was no answer. And I had called earlier that day and there was no answer. 8 o'clock at night, I swear, I just looked at my husband and said, I am driving to the town over. Got in my car, drove over there, knocked on the door. They didn't come to the door. I jimmied my way in, went upstairs, knocked on their bedroom door, and they were super pissed because they were going to take
Hey.
themselves out that
Holy
night.
You know
crap.
what? I've done that before, and I'm like, I'd rather you be pissed at me.
No, that's
You know,
amazing though. I mean,
yeah.
Jesus.
They were going to take themselves out that night.
Yeah.
And I came in, they were super pissed. I mean, they slammed, I mean, they took the door damn slam off the hinges because I just interrupted them. And I was like, I'm sorry.
Oh, wow. Really? Like, it was
Sorry.
that.
Mhm.
Damn. Well,
I just ruined their plan.
thank goodness for you. That's awesome. Well, let's turn this around, guys.
Yeah, let's maybe bring the
Does anyone have any questions for Michelle or any of us, or any burning inquiries that anybody might have?
Yeah, I want to know what the heck is that thing in the back of Lumi's room that what does that say?
Where do you
Oh, that's the Marauders map for Harry Potter.
Okay, got it. I was trying to read it and it's backwards because you don't have it. You don't have the screen, so I was like, I can't read backwards.
And normally I have the
Question.
lights all turned off, but you guys.
Yeah, I know. It's just, you can see a lot more of the room than you normally can. So
I took a quick nap before the show and almost didn't wake up in time. I'm sorry. I started waking up at 8 a.m. So I'm trying to figure out like what time I can take my naps at because I'm going to sleep like a normal person. I'm like, what do I do? What do I do?
nice.
Yeah, but I guess I haven't maybe in the last week. But I've seen you up pretty late on Twitch.
Yep, literally this week after we did MIXINVIXENS, that's when I hard switched my sleep schedule.
You hard switched your sleep schedule? What do you sleep schedule now?
I go to sleep at like midnight and wake up at 8 a.m. I used to not go to sleep until noon.
How's that working out? How's your
Yeah,
sleeping?
do you feel a difference?
I've been trying just about anything that I can do. I too suffer from pretty severe depression, so I'm just working on anything that I can possibly think of to try to make my day a little bit easier. So I figured if I was up when the sun was up, go out and get a little bit of sun,
Get a little bit of vitamin D.
get some of that D.
Get some of that.
Has it seemed to help
tea.
any, or has it not been long enough?
It's meh.
Have you been to take magnesium? That's my advice for everything. Take magnesium. It fixes everything.
It's like duct tape in a
Yeah.
mineral world.
Yeah. You take magnesium. It's like duct tape. It'll
Yep.
duct tape you back together.
There
It'll
you
even
go.
help you poop. Poop makes you happy, right?
Oh my god.
Well, isn't magnesium is something that people take to make themselves
Yeah.
poop?
Yeah,
It's a
magnesium
laxative.
It
citrate.
helps you sleep.
That's the
it helps you
citrate.
poop.
Oh,
It depends
okay.
on what kind. There's
Yeah, there's
magnesium
3 different kinds.
glycinate, there's magnesium other kinds.
Yeah. The glycinate is the one that's supposed to be the one that we're all deficient on. That and vitamin D.
That's what's supposed to help you sleep.
Mhm.
is the glycinate one.
I take melatonin, and
I
then I
take an
drink
electrolyte pill that has both
chamomile.
potassium, magnesium, and sodium.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. So Sarah,
Melatonin doesn't work for me.
what's
I
that?
guess I eat too much. Melatonin doesn't work for me. I guess I eat too much turkey.
You know, I don't think it works for me either. Like, it makes me a little drowsy, like towards time to go to bed, but it doesn't really like help me stay asleep at all or anything.
Magnesium citrate helps more than melatonin for me.
Yeah, I'll have to give it a go.
I don't know if it actually helps me, but there's nothing wrong with taking such a small dose that I'm just like, I'll take anything I can get.
Well,
Maybe.
it probably will help for you because currently your schedule is was upside down. So now you have to produce the hormones at night to be able to sleep at night.
Yeah.
So
And I was
it
on
probably
that
will.
schedule for 5+ years.
Yeah, it's
your
gonna take you a
melatonin
while to get used
production's
to it.
Probably all messed up and your circadian rhythm and stuff.
Yeah,
I
That's
don't
why I
know.
had to take a nap before the show. I was like, it's 5 o'clock. Can I take that quick of a nap? I set 5 alarms.
Yeah, but
I
you
was like,
probably, Lumi,
Is
you,
all you need. A little pick me up, you know?
you
I don't
probably should have
know.
shifted it slower though. You should have shifted it by like an hour a week, because like that's kind of sudden shift. It's got to really be kind of wonky for your system.
I don't know.
and also, I have to take so many medications and stuff, and I was debating on how that switch was going to work, so I just hard switched it.
Right. I used to work in the restaurant industry for the longest time. And so my schedule was I'd get up till like 11 and I didn't go to sleep till about 2 o'clock in the morning. Midnight was an early night for me. And I've been doing banking now for 18 years. I've been having to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I finally, during the week, I'd say that Sundays is my toughest night, but I go to sleep at 11 now. And that's good for me. That's really good for me. But I still get up at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning.
See, I was the opposite of you because my undergrad degrees were like marketing and fine arts, and I worked in marketing for years before I burned out. And I used to have to like be at work at 8 a.m., you know, and it was like typical like corporate hours. And then after I got out of that, and then I gave like music much more of a part of my life, and my schedule is like the same that it's been for years now, but it's to adapt to that. And that is I basically wake up at noon every day and go to bed at 4 a.m. And that's because like before we had this crazy fucking pandemic world, you know, you go out and do a gig, you're playing until 2 a.m. You know, you need to be able to
you clean up.
Yeah, and by the time you clean up and get home and you're actually in your bed, it's 4. And so
I could easily switch back to my old schedule if I didn't have to be to work so early at 8 o'clock in the morning. I could easily go back to going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning and waking up at 11. Because I have the hardest time getting up in the morning.
It's kind of a good schedule for me personally. Like it does work.
I used to do that and be like that, but now for some reason, like 4 or 5 in the morning, I am up and ready for the day. And my dad used to be like that, and I would make fun of him for like being up so early. And because normally we'd pass each other, you know, when I was as a teenager in the house, I'd be going to bed as he's getting up, right? And I'd make fun of him. But I find myself, I'm getting up that early now, and it's like,
I hate it.
Pissing me off.
I don't know how you do it.
I hate it. I wake up in the morning. I'm the crankiest person you'll ever meet. I do get up on time. So I do get up at 6, between 6 and 6:30.
But you're not happy about it.
I'm not happy about it. I do not speak to anybody. I do not make any coherent sense verbally. So everything is like, you got to look at me and I'm like, and I look at my husband, I'm like, and he brings me a cup of coffee. And then when I'm done with that, I tap it on the counter. I'm like,
yeah, my wife and I have this unspoken rule that you can't talk to each other like for the first half hour of the day. It just isn't gonna happen.
I don't talk to anybody at work. Now that we're, you know, working from home, I don't even send the morning. When we first started, I sent good morning. Now I'm like, about 11 o'clock, I'll say, how was your day?
I can't function until I've had at least like 1 cup of coffee.
I had to have 2 to start.
Wow.
functioning. And then by the fourth one, I'm a human.
We have a question from Steven Sard. Steven says, what's a good way to soften FA Fuji apple? Love the flavor, hate the throat hit on it.
Less nicotine. It has a reaction with nicotine is my experience with it, because I can vape Fuji apple at higher percentages if it's not mixed with nicotine. I believe that the interaction between nicotine and Fuji apple is what gives you the throat hit. I don't know any other way to calm it down.
So have you tried like marshmallow or EM or something and it just doesn't do it, huh?
EM kills the actual flavor.
Yeah.
It makes it powdery, and then marshmallow makes it too creamy. I mean, you can try to put a little bit of TFA dragon fruit in it, but I swear if it is a reaction. I swear it's a reaction with the nicotine.
Interesting.
Because flavorless, I'll vape the same thing with no nicotine, and it does not have that harshness. And it doesn't have that harshness in the first 2 or 3 days. And the longer it steeps, instead of smoothing out, it gets more harsh.
Yeah. Weird. I did not. I guess I always vape the same level of nicotine, so I never put the two together.
Yeah, I don't. I vape anywhere between 12 and 1.5, depending on what device I'm using.
Yeah, but if you ever have like zero nic, like I've tried zero nic, and there's no throat hit. There's nothing there. Yeah.
It's
like,
terrible.
You need to, I mean, like, if I don't know if I could ever cut to like nothing. I could maybe cut to maybe 1. I'm at 3 now.
Yeah,
but
because there's something in nicotine, even a low amount, that just does something to the flavor.
But I also love the throat hit because I vape 50/50 PGVG. You know.
Yeah. And nicotine has a flavor of its own. So without it, everything tastes flat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It does. It's flat, right? Like it doesn't. Yeah.
I've never called it like flat, but that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's flat. It's like if there's something missing, and it's not necessarily. You can be chewing on nicotine and vape, and that's not what's missing. It's not the actual desire to vape nicotine. It's there's a flavor missing.
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, it's like, you know what? It's like if you ever had have you ever had? Of course, you've had what I'm about to ask. You open up like a can of Coke, and you feel that on your throat, right? But if it's flat, you don't feel shit. And you're right. That's kind of like the vape.
Yeah.
And the flavor's still there. It's still all the same flavor, but it's flat.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Actually, that's a great analogy.
Like a little something that nicotine, gives you in the throat. Yep.
I've noticed. So in the last week, I would just want to mention this. So, I know that I've told myself I'm not going to be as active in groups as I've been because I need a life. And I have so much other shit going on, but I've noticed I'm really proud of the way that everybody's reacting on DIY or Die group. There's so many people that are asking very basic questions. And I know that a lot of us have been DIYing for a really long time. And these questions used to annoy the hell out of us when somebody would ask, because we're like, oh, it's in the files, you can look at these videos, we would send them other places, right? Because we've been doing it so long, right?
Yeah, but the atmosphere has changed.
But in the last couple of weeks, everybody is like on it. Everybody's like, okay, this is a new person. Let's help them. And they're we don't even have that many trolls being complete smartasses about it, which I'm used to it. I was expecting a drove of trolls to come in one particular post this weekend, and they didn't. They were like, okay, we need to help this person. They're going to vape some oils. So I'm very grateful for the way the community is pulling in.
Yeah, I saw that post.
DIYers.
I mean, it's like, if you know, answer. If not, connect them with someone who definitely will know. Because we all know that person.
That's easy to say, but in the DIY world, we have so many people that love to troll.
Really?
And we have a lot of people that also just have the grandstand attitudes, and we have a lot of people that just like to go in there and say, "Oh, just kill yourself already." Stupid shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I haven't seen stuff like that. I would make them hate their lives real quick if they tried to pull that shit.
And I do. I thought we were going to need to delete a post, and I was going to email I am Emily, and then I was like, you know what? Let me see if it rolls. And I posted like, all a whole like book of why.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question, and gave the complete answer and told them, we're here to help.
Mhm.
And then I guess underneath me, everybody was like, well, we better not troll. But I was surprised. There was like 2, but they weren't terrible. So yeah, I'm really proud. Thank you guys. Please help wherever you can. Jump in. There's going to be a lot of dumb questions asked in this next month.
Yeah,
Or
and
the foreseeable
that's the thing,
future.
there's an influx of new mixers. Most of us are aware of that and are prepared. And most of the communities is pretty good, but yeah, you sometimes do have those trolls. So Forrest asks, what is your favorite bakery? Pie, waffle, cake, biscuit, muffin, cookie, etc.
For me personally, I would have to say cake, because I can't taste texture on cookies that much, and I'm not a big bakery. It either tastes like cardboard to me or it tastes like a cream. So the closest I've ever come is actually a cake.
My thing is, well, something, yes, please, to all, but it's really hard to really get, like, and on all honesty, to get like the separation between muffin, cookie, cake. So I tend to go more towards cakes anyway, just something, or cookies, like a soft batch kind of sugar cookie, but just something that's bready and bakery-ness, is good for me. But I'm not picky. I will like the shit out of anything bakery related. How about you, Rin?
I hate to go with y'all, but it would be cake because I
Yeah.
have a similar issue with cookies. I actually talked about it today, where a lot of them I just don't like it because they have like an off note in them. So yeah, it would definitely be cake.
Cool beans. Joni Lopez asks, is there such a thing as a good Blackberry Trinity?
No.
Nope.
But no.
There's
But there
not.
are good blackberries, sort of, kind of.
Most blackberries are going to be candied.
If they're not, they're going to be floral.
Exactly. You
Or
either have
still-
a good blackberry that's candied, or one that's trying to be realistic but is floral. Now,
Or bubbles. It's going to taste like bubbles, like soap, like rinse.
Let me consult my notes because I feel like we just did blackberry.
Did Lumi say what her bakery was?
Oh yeah, Lumi.
Lumi is a bakery person, so
Go back
she
to
should
that
have been
bakery
first.
question. Sorry.
I was about to say, I guess I'm excluded from this
I'm
because everybody
sorry,
knows I
Lumi.
love bakeries.
Yeah, but it'd be good to know if you could taste the differences between the three.
I can, but I am obsessed with them. I love cookies. I'm always doing something with sugar cookie. So sugar cookies pretty high up there. Waffle cakes. I love it all. Pies.
Yeah, I like pies. Pies are fun.
You know,
Yeah.
the thing with us is, I think me and Rin have more closer flavor profiles. Emily and Lumi do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's yesterday when we were on Fresh's show. While Emily looks this up, I'll go ahead and just chit chat a second. And Rin pops in there and she says, "Make me a candy." I'm like, "Do you know how many fucking flavors I have here? You want me to make you a candy? You're not going to narrow it down to what kind. You're going to let my imagination." I was on his show for like an hour and a half and didn't talk the whole time because I was brainstorming in my head and only came up with 2 recipes.
Addy Tooney trolled me too. He donated money and then said that I had to mix whatever I wanted.
Isn't that terrible?
Yeah.
We all know
that's
how
awful.
indecisive I am.
Give me some direction.
Well, she got me back because she ended up mixing something I didn't have the stuff for, even though I posted my stash specifically for that reason.
Take that.
Well, she was saying that she had all the same flavors as you, so it'd be fine.
Yeah, well, I
No,
really thought that she had all the SSAs, or
no.
most of them.
I have a lot of them, but I don't have all of them.
Oh, yeah, they have quite a few.
Well, you need the 2 I used anyways, so.
Yeah, okay. And then she was gonna use a lemon, and she knows I can't taste lemon, so
You can't
good
taste
stuff.
lemon at all?
No, it sucks.
Yeah, isn't it
That's
sad?
weird though. It's like
Even
interesting.
like vape train sour lemon.
I don't know that I've tried. I have it, but
Okay,
I'm
if
afraid to
there's a
try it.
lemon out there that you can taste, it's either
The
fizzy
problem
fizzy or
is that
vape
when
or
we
sour lemon.
taste lemon, it makes everything else go away. And then we got flavor fatigue for a week or 2 or however long
Oh.
you go away with it.
Yeah,
So
I
I
used
can't
to
vape
be
lemon
able.
either.
I used to be able to taste lemon, but I vaped a lemon heavy recipe nonstop for months because I loved it so much. And then
and it just killed it for
screwed
you.
me.
And
Okay,
I'll tell
you know what?
what,
Wait. Sorry,
my
there's
lemon,
one. Sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry. No, you go
the
ahead.
lemon problem came in when I was doing cereals. So that's also lemon heavy. And I vaped the cereal for like 3 to 4 months straight. And after that, it was over. No more lemons for me ever again.
I'll say that about my clove because I only vape clove ever, right? And so I like the taste of it, but I don't really know what it tastes like anymore because I vape it so much. But like I taste it,
when
but I don't.
you stop tasting clove,
Well,
that's
well,
a
but I've got
problem,
Addie's. I've got
Dougie.
Addie Tooney's
Like-
clove in here in this one, and it's got like a bunch of caramel in it, which or not. Maybe caramel. I think there's caramel. Definitely custard. It's not that great. I mean, Addie likes it, so it's good. Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't like the flavor of it much, but that's my own personal opinion. I'm
You
sure
just
it's
called
wonderful.
Addie McShit?
No, because I fucking
roasted.
I love Addie. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't particularly like. I don't like custards. It has nothing to do with Addie. I don't like custards, but I'm gonna vape it anyway
Addie, you
because.
gonna take the shade?
Oh my god, I can't even finish my point. What I was gonna say is when I vape someone else's clove and then I vape the other clove, then I taste it. Do you know what I mean? Like if you do get OD'd on flavors.
Yeah, you get desensitized to it. No different than like when people have Scentsy in their house, they don't smell it. But when you walk in the house, you're like, whoa, because you haven't been in that room.
It's like those stupid commercials, nose blind.
All right, Addie, maybe it's growing on me a little bit.
I'll be
That's
over here
funny.
vaping my Bayless. Don't mind me, guys.
So Michelle, what is the profile of the clove that you vape?
I don't fucking know.
It's
That's
just
the
clove,
problem.
Like honestly.
No, it's a clove. So back in the day, I started vaping in like 2013, so it's been a long time. And like I tried mixing my own clove for years, never got something that I really loved, but it was like workable. And then I found Vaporfy's clove and fell in love with it, but it's like way too strong. And so I bought it at a 12 and would cut it down to a 3, which would cut down the clove and also cut down the nick. And it's like, for me, the perfect clove. It reminds me exactly of like the Black Jarums. Anyway, Vaporfy got murdered by the PMTAs like everybody else. And they don't make it anymore. So for a couple of months, Addie has been trying to figure out what that mix is. He hasn't quite gotten it, but he sent me enough samples that and knowing what he used in those mixes, I can taste the flavors are there. I just right now need to kind of work out the proportions of it.
Kind of narrow down, which ones.
So you don't know what they described the profile as?
They described it as like, some bullshit copy, that someone who probably never had a clove cigarette in their entire fucking life just wrote because that was their job for the day, like it was very, I remember being like very, like a clove commercial almost, no, but there was nothing that like hinted at it. I actually sent them an email, like, hey, now that you're not making it anymore, and you've addicted me to this flavor that I've been buying from you guys for years, can you share the recipe? And of course I got no response to that. But
I mean, cloves are, it's a very good additive to a lot of tobaccos. The question is, which tobacco is it that you like? For some reason, with that company being an older company, I wonder if they were using just plain old TFA DK tab with some clove in it.
we should talk at some point. I think in one of the mixes that he sent me, it had, I think it was called Western.
Yeah, Western's a good one too. And they used to mix Western in with the K tab and add a little bit of clove back in the old days.
If
Okay.
you put Winston on the case, I'm pretty sure you'll also have another
sniff
great
out that
mind at
bad.
it, because I'm
Well,
pretty sure
we'll see how
Winston
close
can
I
narrow
get.
it down.
But
I used to, that's what I did for a long time, was imitate tobaccos of different types. So I was mostly known for being the tobacco person, and now I'm all about the fruit. But I
see,
still
the thing is,
know
you can't really taste the tobacco in the clove that I like. It's like, I don't like tobacco. I've never smoked cigarettes in my life. Well, that's not true. I've gotten drunk and had a cigarette here and there, but you know what I mean. I'm not a cigarette smoker. I've only
not
smoked
smoking,
cloves,
yeah.
and I know there's tobacco in it, but because my brain associates that level of tobacco as just being like a clove cigarette, like I don't really taste the tobacco
I
of it.
understand that, but tobacco in flavorings is not really a cigarette.
Tobacco.
So it's either gonna have caramel notes or it's gonna have some.
And the caramel notes usually throw me off. Like they're the ones that usually are like I'm not crazy about.
And some of them have what do you call that? They would be more of a mapley kind of note that would add sweetness to that.
I've actually tried maple when I was mixing before I found Vaporflies. I had a couple mixes that I had like just a drop of maple. So instead of using a sweetener, I was using the maple in place of the sweetener.
Interesting. I might make you one and just see if you like it.
We could have like maybe like one day we'll have like a little chat about it, and like maybe you could nail it down just by me explaining it.
Yeah.
You guys know Steph, right? Disco Potato.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't.
she recommended one to me, and I ordered it. I still haven't got my order from I forget who I ordered from. DIY Vape Supply, I think. Whatever. But Holiday Spice I ordered. I've never tried that one in a mix.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that because the one that I like is very spicy. And
Yeah, this is Holiday Spice has a lot of nutmeg in it.
oh, and she's the one always pushing nutmeg on me. She's like, I bet you're missing nutmeg from your mix. And I'm like, all right, I'll try it. That's good. 2 birds, 1 stone.
There you
Excellent.
go.
Do you like anise?
No. Okay, so that was another thing. Like when I was mixing and trying to find something, it was like, okay, well, what exactly is in a clove cigarette? And I broke it down, and anise is technically in some clove cigarettes. And so I tried that, and that was a hard pass. Because like I don't like black licorice.
You tried that too high.
I'm sure I did, and I thought I had too little too. But
have you ever eaten a white Tic Tac?
you mean like a minty one?
Yeah, just Tic Tacs.
Yeah.
White Tic Tacs. Okay, well those are anise. That's anise and vanilla.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So
No way.
yes.
Holy crap! Because like black licorice is what I associate with anise.
Yeah.
Yeah, a white Tic Tac is anise and vanilla mix.
There's trying to be mint in there too.
Of course, there's mint also, but I'm just saying that's what makes that flavor is
the
vanilla
Wow.
and
That's
vanilla,
crazy.
a little bit of peppermint, and aniseed.
All right, so if I can't get close, you're getting a phone call. And we're gonna have a conversation.
TheJuiceFairy is on the case.
Well, that's kind of the thing that's like wonderful about the community is there's so many people that like they have such a wealth of knowledge about these certain things. Like if you need advice on like the wiring in your mod, I can answer that for you. But like if I need advice for how to mix something.
So when all this vapor stuff goes down and my mod gets fucked up, I'm just gonna mail it to you.
I will.
So wires back together.
I've been kind of stuck. So I mean, I've been making Dole Dimes for years. I've made over 50 of them, and the last one I made was for my friend Mark, who made the Warlock's hammers, which has cat hair on it.
Oh, I've got one of those. I got a Warlock hammer.
So Mark Cloth made those, and he was a friend of mine. And when I made him a Dole Dime, like I said, it was the last one I made, and it got to him 1 week after he died. And now every fucking time I go to like work on my bench to like work on a mod, I just get like, anyway, I haven't worked on a mod since he died, and
Oh, wow.
I don't know if I'll be picking back up on that. And then like shortly thereafter, then
I'm sure.
then the fucking PMTAs came down to the point where like Ruby lost her business essentially in vaping, and the show ended, and it's just like I feel so fucking beaten down. Like,
yeah, I think we all do, but I think that we just have to stick together.
Yeah.
And DIY is still here, and we'll help each other out. I mean, we'll figure out your mix. I'm so sorry for Rue as well, and Grim also lost his business. I mean, it's just gone down, one at a time. But we just can't give up. We just got to keep going.
Oh, sure. Let's see. Do we have any more questions? I think. Oh, someone mentioned you used to race cars.
Yeah, I for 20 years, I raced. When I started racing, like I had grand aspirations of making it. That didn't work out. I mean, I was good, but not good enough, and I didn't start early enough because my parents wouldn't let me race. So I had to wait until I was like out of the house and on my own. But so I would say it was mostly a hobby, but I raced for the first 10 years I raced modern stuff. So I started in karting, then went to Formula Dodge, Formula Ford, Spec Racer Ford, just a bunch of Formula cars. And then the last 10 years is when I raced vintage cars, but again, Formula cars. And then my Formula Junior, which was a 1959 Formula car, essentially one step down from Formula One in that year. I had a really bad crash out in California, and that's why I can't sing anymore, because I was intubated for like 2 weeks. Anyway, we don't have to talk about injuries and shit, but like
It's been one of those shows, hasn't it?
Yeah,
intubation messes you up.
I loved racing.
Death, however, it did ruin my voice.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm alive.
Yeah,
I've got titanium in my skull. I've got 2 screws in my chin, and they put me back together. But I still raced after that for a couple of years, and then I just retired because it's an expensive hobby, and when you crash a race car, it's expensive, and you get fucked up. Even when we've got like 6-point harnesses, we've got fire systems, but like you get fucked up when you crash a vintage car, because vintage cars weren't made strong.
Yeah, right?
Like today's cars, they fucking, so anyway, you get really hurt. After I crashed that car though, like I remember my mechanic would would only rebuild it if I agreed to sell it. He would not rebuild it if I was going to continue to race it, because like Formula Juniors were not strong cars. They were made super light so they could be super fast, but they would like fall apart. And so he did rebuild it. I sold it to a guy in Sweden. He's still racing it, which is really cool. And then I raced Formula Ford for several years. Formula Fords are actually faster than the Formula Junior was, but the Formula Junior was on really skinny tires, and they moved around a lot, and it was so fun. It was kind of glorious.
Cool.
Anyway, I'm like, well, I feel like I'm like reminiscing, so sorry.
Yeah, hey, well,
that's okay.
Yeah,
it's chit chat. There's no rules. It's just
right. There's no
I mean, it's a part of my life that like I really, really, really loved, and if I magically had a ton of money and I could still do it, that would be amazing. And I don't care if I keep getting hurt, but like, it's just...
I don't know. I stopped desiring to get hurt after I turned 45. I was like, you know what? I better take care of myself if I plan on living to be out.
I can barely move each day. My back is so fucked up from racing. I can't even tell you. So, but it's just like,
I stopped doing dangerous shit. I think. I keep saying to myself, I don't do anything dangerous really anymore.
You're just calming down in your old age.
Yeah, and I sold my motorcycle a couple years ago. I rode motorcycles for 25 years, and it's just like, I didn't sell it.
In the garage.
You what?
We haven't got our motorcycles. Our Harley is in the garage. We haven't been out in it in about 6 years now, because my husband and I used to ride together, and then all of a sudden, like reality hits. All our kids are grown, and when they were little, you would think that's when we wouldn't ride together, because if something happens to one, something happens to both. But now that they're grown and gone, we're like, oh, well, we can't let anything happen, because they're in their young adulthood, and they are gonna fuck up right now.
Yeah, exactly.
We gotta be around for these things to make sure that they don't
funny.
fuck their futures up, because this is when it counts, you know.
My problem was that like I just was writing less because music, like I've always had different parts of my life, and different parts kind of take more control of your life at certain times, you know, and music had just taken much more control, and I wasn't riding, and the bike was just sitting there. And then I like moved back into the actual city of Philly. I lived in the suburbs of Philly before, and I'm just like, I just sold it because it was just sitting there, and it was killing me that my bike was just sitting there and not being ridden.
Right.
Like a fucking bike should be
Yeah.
ridden by
It
someone.
should be written, even if by someone else, you know.
We should
Yeah.
at least crank ours up once.
Well, and that's the thing, like coming from like vintage racing, yes, you could stick, like the car that I raced had like an insane history. Like the drivers were famous that drove it like back in the day, and like it had this, it should have been like in a museum. But like vintage racers have the mentality of, it's a race car, it should be raced. Like
Yeah.
a bunch of vintage cars on the track at the same time, just like it was like in the early 60s or whatever. Oh, hell yeah. And it's the same thing with a bike. It shouldn't be collecting dust in a garage, never being ridden. It should be ridden by
it should be
someone.
ridden and enjoyed.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't know. We're not ready to get rid of it. We'll just let it sit there, and
Then you need to ride it.
It's a decoration right now. It looks really nice in there. Maybe we'll hang it on the ceiling or something. All right, girls. Well, you know, it's 6:55. Time flies.
Yeah.
We're having
I
fun.
know, get on out of here. Michelle, thank you for coming on. We've enjoyed having you.
Thanks for having me in my current state as well. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Yeah, poor choices today.
Not poor choices, just the ones we make. We just got to roll through them.
For sure. Well, if you like what we do and you want to support us in a fun, tasty way, there's a couple places you can do that. You head on over to flavorjungle.com. We've got one shot there. Or DIYflavorchaser.com. MixInVixens has a one-shot line there as well. So if you want to check us out, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much to our sponsors, Bull City and Favora. Wayne, thank you for putting us on your podcast network. And you all who are watching right now and who will catch the replay, thank you so much. We love you all. We'll see you next week for the judging show.
We don't do judging. It's going to be.
We don't do judging, not the judging show, the critique.
Oh my God, you're so judgy.
we don't do that anymore. We don't get judged. They tell us when we did something wrong.
Yeah, we just
You're roasted.
All right, guys. Bye.